Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. So then, today we're going to be swapping out the door brakes, the rear door brakes on my BMW 130i. Now, door brakes, you may ask, what the hell are they? Now then, this is what they look like. Essentially, it is kind of like a hinge for your door. It sits in between the upper and lower hinge, right in the middle of your door, and this acts as a brake, and you typically have around 3 stops where your door will hold in position. So, you know, your door may open a little bit, it'll open a little bit more, and then fully wide open, and your door should stay in that position with the help of this thing here. Now, the issue I'm having is on my rear doors, the door brakes have just completely failed and the door is not holding in any position. If you swing it open, it will just swing back closed again. It will not hold at all. And because that is the exact same on both of my rear doors, I'm going to be swapping out both door brakes, of course. Here they are then, they are genuine BMW parts. Now, I get a lot of people ask me where I get my genuine BMW parts from, and here is exactly where I get them from. Fixed Parts Online, they supply genuine BMW and genuine OEM replacements. So if you are in need of some BMW parts or some genuine OEM replacements, then I would recommend checking out Fixed Parts Online. Of course, links will be in the description box below. But without further ado, let's get outside and let's get cracking. Okay, so here we have the 1 Series, and I'll actually just show you what the doors are like first and foremost before we do anything. So, open the rear door, as you can see, just swings open very freely. If you let go of it, it just closes itself. It doesn't hold at all, and it's pretty much the same for the other side as well. Now, this side isn't as bad. I think it does still have some hold in it, but yeah, it's definitely, you know, not how it should be. It does hold somewhat in a couple of positions, but it still sort of closes on you. So I will be swapping out both sides, obviously. Now, in terms of how to remove it, obviously we will be going into full detail on that. You know, we are going to have to remove the door card and whatever else, because it does go into the actual door itself. It's just held in by 3 bolts. So you have this one here, which you need a female torque socket for, and then if you remove this boot here, this rubber part, you can see we have 2 more bolts, which are just regular Torx bolts. Okay, so we're going to start on the worst of the 2 doors then. First thing we need to do is get the door card removed. It's held in by 3 screws. There is 1 up here, 1 around the middle, I believe, and then there's 1 also hidden by this cap in the door handle as well. And then it's just a case of a whole bunch of clips around the edge, which obviously we just need to pull the door card towards us, and it should come away. So first thing I'm going to do then is remove this handle trim piece here. There is actually kind of like a notch at the bottom on the inside corner, which you can get a pry tool in, or a trim removal tool. So that is where I like to start. And once you get your trim tool in, you can go ahead and pull it off and hope that the plastic clips on here are not broken. If you do end up breaking a few, it's not a massive problem. There is these metal clips that hold it in place for the most part anyway. So now that we have this removed, we now have access to 2 of the screws. So like I said, there's 1 at the top. These 2 screws are T20 screws, nice and squeaky. Now, like I said, there is 1 hidden behind this round cap in the door handle. So we'll go ahead and pop this out. Careful not to damage it. There we are, that's that cap removed. And this one is actually just a standard Phillips screw. So choose a screwdriver for that. Now, the door card should pull away. So, again, using our trim removal tool, I'm just going to start at the bottom. Just going to get it behind the clips. There we go. And once you have a gap big enough to get your hand behind, you can just start pulling it then. You don't have to be too careful. If you do end up breaking some of the clips, it's not the end of the world, you can always get replacements. Now there is 5 or so clips along the top, and you have to pull this towards you, but obviously we have to pull it over the top of the lock switch here. There we go, that's the door card removed. Now don't just pull it away, because obviously we do have an electrical connector. We have one for the electric window, so we have to disconnect that first. There we go, it's the window switch disconnected. Then we also have the door handle release as well, which you can just remove from the door just by pulling up. And there we are, and now the door card can come away from the car. Now then we can actually get started on the door brake bolts. So like I said, there is the 2 bolts behind this rubber boot here, then there is the 1 here as well. Now before we go ahead and start loosening them though, I actually want to make sure I can gain access to them, so I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling this back, this foam piece here. Now there is really no way how to do this, but you just want to be as clean as possible, just so you don't completely destroy this thing. But you essentially need to give yourself as much access as possible. Ideally we would just peel the whole thing off, but the seal that goes around it is just stuck down too strongly. So I'm gonna see if I can gain access to that door brake now, and yes I can, so we can proceed and start unbolting it from the car. So these 2 bolts then, man that one looks quite rusty. These 2 bolts are a T30. They shouldn't be very tight at all. No, they're not tight. There we are. Yeah, they're only quite small bolts. Yeah, that's the other one removed. I'll get started on this bolt then. Takes a E10 socket. Again, not very tight at all. There we go, retrieve that. And we should be able to pull this out now. Just take the rubber boot off. See if we can angle it through this gap here. And there we are. And now it's time to install our nice shiny new one, and these do come pre-greased, so no need to add any grease or anything. Just need to slide it into position. We're going to be able to get this through this hole. Just doing a bit of juggling in the inside of the door here. Slide it through. There we are. And I'm going to actually install the 2 smaller bolts first. Get it lined up. There we go, just do them finger tight first till we get the other bolt in. Okay, let's slide this bolt in. And I've just made a rookie mistake. Forgot to reinstall the rubber boot, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt and then just slide it over. There we go, that's nice and tight. Now we'll just reinstall this rubber boot. Goes over nicely the 2 bolts. In position, appears to be. Now then, ideally we would be replacing this foam obviously with a new seal, but I'm actually just going to go ahead and re-stick this down on the old seal. It's not that big of an issue if this isn't like, you know, perfectly tight. We do have door seals obviously to keep the water out, so it's not too critical to make this perfect, but yeah, you know, goes together again quite nicely. But now that that is all done, let's go ahead and reinstall the door card. And actually what I like to do is, when I'm reinstalling the door card, is I just go ahead and remove the window switch, and then I just feed the wire through. It saves, you know, trying to plug this in while holding this at the same time. I just feed this through, get this hung on the car, and then I can worry about plugging this back in. Obviously we have to connect up the door handle first though. So there is 2 positions this can go in, open and closed, so keep it closed. Just test it works, yep, there we go. Now we can just get this reinstalled back on. Obviously need to feed the wire through for the window switch, and now it's just a case of lining this up as well as getting the lock switch through this hole. It shouldn't be too difficult of a task. Yep, there we go. Now let's just line it up with all the clips and give it a good firm tap. There we are, looking good. Now just all the way around the edge. Go ahead and start putting these screws back in. So there's the Phillips screw here, and there's the 2 longer Torx screws. There we are then, that's those 2 screws in, that's that one in as well. We can go ahead and reinstall this cap. Now we can reinstall our window switch that we optionally removed. I find it much easier just to install it like so. Make sure we got it the right way around. And this just drops in. And now then we just need to reinstall this handle trim piece, and to do so it's best to remove these clips and then install them onto the trim piece itself. And then all we need to do is line this up, and yeah, so it's that way, and then just get this installed. Okay then, so with the trim piece now back in place, all that's left to do is make sure everything is working as it should, and the door is definitely now holding open. See, there's nothing holding it in place. Let's try it at the next position. Yep, that's holding firm. Now I don't believe there is another one. I think the next one is just having it closed. Yep, there we go. So open the door again, hold at that position very strongly, you know, there's nothing that is going to knock that very easily. Then obviously wide open, you can see it stays there perfectly. And I've actually went ahead and done the other side as well. As you can see, this door is now holding open with no problems, nice and factory fresh. Okay then, so that's another job done on the BMW 1 Series, another thing fixed, and I'm glad that it's done now. It's one of those annoying little issues where, you know, if you have passengers and they want to go in the back, yeah, the door ends up just blowing closed on their legs, and yeah, that's not fun for your passengers at all. So yeah, very easy job to do. This is something that anyone can do from home really. Like I said, if you do want to buy these parts yourself, I will leave the link down in the description box below for the fixed parts online. And yeah, I think that's about it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Please remember to give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all very soon in that next video. Peace!